the fact that media has made me feel ashamed to do this or this. Our bodies are not anything to be ashamed of.
You know, I actually agree with this person, which is funny. It's not the most difficult thing in the world for me to admit that I sometimes agree with people on the other side. I mean, I am kind of in the middle, but of course the video doesn't end there. Don't cut me off yet. Too soon? Yeah, thought so. Welcome back to your favorite non-leftist lesbians YouTube channel. That would be me. If you are new, make sure you click that subscribe button down below because I'm sure you've heard from your woke friends or from the woke people that I'm a terrible person. But honestly, if you watch my videos like fully all the way through, I'm sure you'll agree with me on more things than not. I wanted to talk about this specific trend for quite a while now, but I wasn't sure how to go about it. And that is trans men going on TikTok and YouTube and being completely shirtless without having top surgery. And yeah, these videos, you can go search them, they're still up. The only reason we blurred these trans men's chests was because, not because it makes me uncomfortable, obviously it's like whatever, it's not my body, I don't care, but because there is a very slight possibility that this person might wind up detransitioning and be fully regretful of showing their bare chest online. And I also don't know if these people are over 18 or not. I'm assuming they are because they have YouTube and TikTok accounts, right? But you don't know.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people only hyping up skinny trans people. And I'm really sick of the fact that media has made me feel ashamed to do this or this. Our bodies are not anything to be ashamed of, whether you've transitioned or not. And the fact that people have told you that you have to hide your chest because you haven't gotten it cut off yet is bullshit.
So I actually agree with him on some of his stances, right? This is where me being a libertarian or a moderate comes into play. I can see both sides of this argument, right? Let me do what I want with my body. I want to show it off. Let me show it off. What I do worry about, though, is if this becomes a slippery slope like a ton of other issues in the trans or LGBT community as of late. I would worry about people that are underage doing this. You have to remember, and this is something that I've talked about in quite a few videos before, the number of people that are aged 13 to 17 that are born female are the most common demographic for people that believe they're transgender, that have dysphoria, that have gender dysphoria, but actually don't, and it winds up being something else like body dysmorphia or anxiety or depression or trauma, sexual induced trauma. They are in fact the largest demographic of people who believe that they're transgender and then realize they're not. So what if they are allowed to go on TikTok or YouTube and they're underage and then realize that, oh shit, like I'm actually not trans, I'm a woman, and now I showed my bare chest for the entire world to see and deeply regret it. I also do agree with him that our bodies are definitely not something that we should be ashamed of. Hello? Literally, I have an OnlyFans account. And it's also one of the reoccurring messages I have posted in my videos since like day one. There are in fact some things that these kids get right.
This is me. This is my body. Deal with it. Because I'm sick of everyone trying to shame us for looking like this.
Body shame is never a good look for anybody. I've also spoken about this before, but body shaming or fat shaming, I guess in this case it would be chest shaming, is not cute. It's not nice. But honestly, I don't think that the majority of people, at least in the United States, would give two shits about the supposed trans man or biological woman showing off their chest regardless of their surgery status. And I asked you guys this on Twitter. Here's what you said. Most of you seem to agree with me. Quick important note here, some of you told me that you picked the not cool option because you wanted to make sure that I knew that you think it should be okay for everybody to go topless if they wanted to, not just trans men, not just people that identify as men, people that are male. And you have to remember that in some places in the States and in the world, it is legal for both men and women, males and females, to go topless. I mean, you see this happening all the time in New York City during the Halloween parade, during the Pride parade, in Spain on the beaches and stuff like that, and nobody bats an eye. One great question that's arising from this all is, are chests inherently sexual? My answer is no, which is I guess why I personally don't think that this is a huge deal. And interestingly enough, YouTube and TikTok has already been promoting this type, or at least not banning and allowing this type of content for the better part of the last like 4 or 5 years. An ex-friend of mine who is a famous YouTuber had a video put out about like 3 or 4 trans guys showing off their chests, embracing their bodies, and one of them also did not have top surgery yet, so he had a female chest. Even though I'm not friends with this person anymore, I do want to say that I think the video and the point that he made was quite brilliant, because it basically called out YouTube, right? It was a like, what are you gonna do, YouTube? Are you gonna allow this content to exist and have it be controversial? Or are you gonna delete it and be called transphobic? YouTube opted to leave it up. The video's still up. And let me be very clear here. I don't think that people, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sex, showing off their chest is a bad thing. What is very different to me is people walking around with their genitals hanging out. Personally, not a fan of that. Can't stand to see it at gay pride either. Put your dicks away, please. I wanna critique this Instagram post written by the woke feminists. Writers over at Feminist on their Instagram account. This is just horrendous in my opinion. It says, if seeing trans bodies makes you uncomfortable, then you are the problem. So now this post was in reference to women that were college-age swimmers at Penn State, I think it was, being uncomfortable around their teammate Leah Thomas, who I've covered in videos before, who is transgender and was apparently walking around with her junk hanging out. Teammates say that they're uncomfortable changing in locker rooms with trans UPenn, oh, it's University of Pennsylvania, not Penn State swimmer Leah Thomas. Multiple swimmers have raised it multiple different times, but we were basically told that we could not ostracize Leah by not having her in the locker room. There's nothing we can do about it, and that we basically have to roll over and accept it. We cannot use our own locker room. She added, it's really upsetting because Leah doesn't seem to care about how it makes others feel. The 35 of us are just supposed to accept being uncomfortable in our own space and locker room for like the feelings of one, meaning the feelings of one person. The school was focused on making sure Leah was okay and doing everything they possibly could for her, that they didn't even think about the rest of us. Here's my hot take, although it's not going to be a hot take for most people that are watching. If you are disregarding women's boundaries, right? Biological women's boundaries, telling them that it doesn't matter, that they are the problem, that is not feminism. Like, we've gotten to the point where it's now transphobic to be uncomfortable around someone that's male, that's literally just fine showing off their male genitals to people in a female locker room. Like, you are a biological male. In my opinion, you should be treating this space as an intimate female space and act accordingly. But no, of course you wouldn't, because you don't know what being raised and being treated as a woman your whole life is like. The feminist Instagram account then responded to these quotes by University of Pennsylvania swimmers and said, let's break this down. Cis people will never be the victims of transphobia. The women's locker room belongs to all women, not just cis women. Okay, yeah, that's true, but so people born male are 99.9% of the time perpetrators, right? Of trans women hate crimes, of biological women sex crimes, or sexist crimes, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, well, trans women need a space to feel safe, so do biological women. And to the all women comment, my question for them is, how do you define all women? If it's simply an identity, anybody can identify that way and take advantage of that space. We've already seen this happen once again, putting trans women, actual trans women, and biological women at risk. I'm just saying, stop making biological women the issue here when the actual problem is males. Here's what my friend Sarah had to say about all of this.
As trans women, we need to understand that when we are allowed access to female spaces such as locker rooms, we are guests and there are restrictions. Walking around with your male parts out makes women uncomfortable. Don't do it. Plus, most trans women that I know would not feel comfortable doing that because we have gender dysphoria. And trust me, I understand how using a male locker room would make you feel. I went to a Korean spa one time, much like the Wee Spa in California, where people would generally walk around naked. Though in this spa, they separate locker rooms based off of genitals. So I tried to use the men's locker room. I had a panic attack. But I don't blame the spa. That is their right as an organization to make those rules. But also because of this experience, I understand how women might feel to have a male presenting person in their space. On the other hand, I have been using the women's locker room at the gym for over a year now. If I'm going to change my bottoms, I'm going to use the private suite that they have. I have found women are generally more welcoming. They will welcome you in if you are respectful. However, if you are a self-righteous asshole that has no respect for the space that you're in, of course women are going to perceive you as a threat. Think of it like a dick pic in your DMs. No one likes to receive them. It is completely a male thing to do, and it makes women uncomfortable. Then multiply that by 1,000 when a woman is in person with an unexpected penis in front of her. Women have the right to feel safe in their locker rooms, period. And I have no issue using a third space if that is what a business decides it has to do to make women feel safe, and it's not transphobic for them to make that decision.
See, while gender issues are incredibly sometimes difficult to talk about, we can open up the conversation and figure out what is most fair in each situation. Also, this is random, but please stop saying that gender has something to do with race. Gender has nothing to do with race. Sometimes things are just not intersectional at all. Like, not everything is intersectional. Can we stop that, please? Take a look at this hot mess of a TikTok.
Everything I say about gender is influenced by my whiteness, which is obvious, but there's an interesting second part to this. The rejections of gender and gender roles that I create and embody will still come from my whiteness, those acceptable to my constructions of self as a white person. I will likely uphold and encourage white beauty standards and see and more immediately accept other white rejections of gender.
Okay, number one, at this point, the reason that a lot of people uphold white beauty standards is because if we even braid our hair these days, we're told that we're culturally appropriating black culture or black people. So you kind of put that on yourself. You just can't with these people, can you? They will never let you just be. Everything has to have a much deeper issue or a deeper meaning. Nothing can just be surface. I mean, I just can't like braiding my hair. Sometimes, sis, ain't that deep.
Essentially, even the most critical analysis of gender I have will still be white, and white gender rejection can and does uphold whiteness and white supremacy. Queer appropriation of African American vernacular English is one example of this, as is mainstream exclusion of fashion excellence in black representations of masculinity, while celebrating white men for having basic hygiene as if they're revolutionaries. Of course, that's not to say we can't attempt to take in other viewpoints, but it's still going to be a fundamentally white perspective. Even this is a white perspective. It's literally the only one I can give you. So if you want to learn how other people construct and deconstruct gender, you need to learn it from someone who doesn't look like me.
Agreed. Please don't learn anything from this person, please. Don't listen to people like this. I mean, you can, but you're probably going to realize sooner than later that they're just idiots. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. Do you think that it is okay for trans men or biological women that present as women, that are women, anybody to show off their chests on TikTok and YouTube? Let me know in the comments. And other than that, I will see you guys back here in a few days with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Make sure you to go and follow me on my locals page, arielle.locals.com. I post a ton of content there that I never post here. And I also post a ton of content on my Facebook page, which is mainly political takes. So if you enjoy that type of content, go and follow me there. All the links are in the description, and I'll see you later. Bye.